Welcome to Playing the Big, Beautiful Long Game, where entrepreneurship meets spirituality. In this podcast, we explore the intersection of personal fulfillment, spiritual growth, and business success. This podcast delves into the idea that entrepreneurship is not just about profits or growing businesses. It's also about embracing purpose, meaning, and inner growth. Each episode features conversations with entrepreneurs and thought leaders who share their journeys of building businesses that align with their highest values and deepest calling. I'm your host, Debbie Zita. Sit back, relax, and thank you for being here. Welcome, beautiful Ella. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Most welcome. Can you please let the audience know who you are and what it is that you do?
So my name is Ella Hall, and I'm an embodied leadership coach and a catalyst for women's next level evolution. So the women that come and play in my realm, they're women that understand that they've got to a certain level in life, love, leadership, business, but the identity that got them where they are is not the one that can get them where they want to go next. And that's why they come play with me.
I love it. We are so on the same page, which is why you're here doing this podcast.
Exactly.
So yeah, let's go back to the moment or the moments where, and I know we're just talking, I'm going to also say we've both got a bit throaty today. So just anyone excuse us that we're coming out of snake energy into fire horse. We're right in fire horse.
Yeah.
I know we were saying off record that there's a lot of changes going on. So if you hear us clearing our throats, we're refinding our voices and finding our power again. So, but take us back to the moment or moments when you made the decision to step into this role, and like what was happening for you and what ignited that passion and how did that sort of unfold?
So my whole life has been, an evolutionary journey from trauma to triumph. And I come, same. We share that kind of story as well. So my mother is a renowned psychologist, sex therapist, hypnotherapist, everything a therapist. So for a lot of my life, I actually think I grew up in her shadow a little bit. And that also gave me incredible access to, NLP at the age of 4. I was in my first NLP workshop learning about the power of words and the magic of meditation. And then I was traveling to Hawaii with Robert Kiyosaki's business school with my parents when I was 8. And I grew up listening to the great Zig Ziglar, Bob Proctor, Louise Hay, Dr. Wayne Dyer, like Anthony Robbins, all of these people. And I was just getting absolutely, immersed in this world of personal and professional development. But again, as I said, nothing could protect me from childhood trauma. And that left a mark on the foundation of who I was. And I think that even though what we consider to be, a curse or something that, terrible to happen to us, I always believe that there's a blessing and it actually guides you to your power and your purpose. And I've spent my entire life learning to reclaim the parts of me and remember, myself and the little parts of me that had felt abandoned, segmented, lost, broken, forgotten, and bringing them back home to self. And that journey has been the journey of my entire life. I got into drugs when I was very young because all the coping strategies that I'd created to deal with this feeling of lack and fear and looking outside of me for love and safety and belonging, outsourcing my power, that set me up for a lifetime of people pleasing, proving, performing, perfecting. And so it's been, how have I recovered again those parts that needed to be recovered so I could step into new levels of my greatness, of my own leadership. And that journey has been one. I'm turning 45 on the 2nd of March this year, but that's really where it all began. It's from the trauma to the triumph. It's from being immersed. Like I've spent nearly $1 million in my own personal and professional development journey over a lifetime. And it's only been in the last, honestly, I've been working with, high-powered professionals and all kinds of creators, entrepreneurs for the past 20 years, but nothing has accelerated me faster than in the last 5 years when I have been doing identity work meets super conscious, sacred sexuality transformed my life, and obviously a sovereignty piece that wasn't there before as well.
We are like, because we met at an event. I was speaking, you were there with a beautiful friend of mine and colleague of ours. We just met very briefly, had a beautiful connection, and we're like, yep, jump on the podcast. I've
Yeah.
seen you on Insta, but I really like, we haven't really spoken. Ella, there are so many parallels and
Yeah.
synchronicities to your story. It is actually unbelievable.
That's what I was
So,
bouncing with when you were on the stage. I was like, everything that came out your mouth, I'm like, that's what I do. That's why I do it. Oh my God. Yeah.
wow. Okay. So I'm just like taking all of that in. Like the $1 million spent learning, developing the young age. I didn't have a mother who was involved in the things that your mum was. I kind of wish that she was. In fact, I
Mhm.
tried to sort of save my mum and went on to this whole journey of personal development to save her. And of course, you can't save anyone. And she
No.
very sadly, tragically died of gallbladder cancer when she was 61 and I was 27 and pregnant.
Oh, honey. Yeah.
Yeah. And then later when I am 45 and pre happy birthday for yours, which is coming up soon.
Thank
I'll
you.
be 46 at the end of the year. And I had
God,
my,
we look good, woman.
we
We
look
look so
great.
good. We're
Thank
like
you.
fine wine.
Yes,
We're
we
getting better with
do.
age.
So true. So true. And but that piece around like the childhood abuse stuff, which I don't know if you want to go there, we can go anywhere you want. That came into my awareness after 40, and that was a big
Me too.
crash. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
During COVID, actually.
Yeah, actually, yes, the lockdown. In fact, my TEDx talk, which just came out, is
Oh,
about
congratulations.
thank you, honey, the day I chose to live, where I very nearly was going to end everything because of
Yeah.
harm and trauma and finding out about the abuse. And one of my best friends had just passed away from cancer. Anyway, long history of trauma. I was shattered, broken. I'm done. God, I'm cooked. I'm done.
Mhm.
Obviously, I didn't. I'm still here to tell the tale. And I just went deeply into myself. God help me. I can't leave my son. I can't leave my son. And I won't. But take this pain. And there was a renewed purpose for my work, for the six selves, for the podcast, for everything else. And then, of course, then the whole TEDx talk came about from that. But the catalyst was finding out about the abuse. And there were equal
Mm.
parts relief and terror. Like now I know what happened. Now I can explain my behaviors and my panic attacks and my constant running into the arms of wolves and running away from safety, looking
Yeah.
for myself outside everywhere else, right? Except for inside, but talking about it because I was still working, but there was this piece of me missing. And then finally fucking reclaiming that. There, I got
That's
the swear word in first because I was talking about, I don't usually swear, but fucking reclaiming that piece of me in my 40s. So go ahead.
But that's what I was exactly going to share. So, like, I've been doing this work for 20 years. Like, I ended up in rehab in 2004. And that was where I was like, okay, I need to make a decision because that was my death's door. Like, I was either going to kill myself
Yeah.
or I was going to choose to change. What do you choose? You got to go all in, girl. And I was like, I choose to change. And when I change, I'm going to make it my life's work to educate, inspire, and empower everybody else. So no one has to go down the same road I did. But because I didn't know what was wrong with me, like I felt like there was something wrong or broken
Yes.
intrinsically. I
Yes.
didn't
Yes.
know. I had a vibe, I had a
Yeah.
feeling like your body keeps the score. Every cell in
Totally.
your body is its own universe and it all has a memory. But I tune in the way I tune in for others and I'd be like, something just happened to me when I was about 2.5 and I'd get, no, like don't fucking go there. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, so it's not safe for me to go there, but I was curious. And you know how they say the universe never gives you anything that you're not ready for in that moment?
Yes.
Thank God for protecting me
Yes.
until I had enough tools in my toolkit
Totally.
to be able to handle. So after like COVID was happening, and like I say, you know, when immense pressure happens, diamonds are formed,
Yeah.
right? That's what creates diamonds. And so, under this immense pressure, I was birthing technologies and systems of IP that were just so fucking precious. And at the same time, I'm living by myself in East Melbourne in this ridiculously expensive place, which, you know, I was doing body work at the time and I couldn't work because obviously lockdown was happening. But also, I had this wave come through my body. My physical body started to have this vibe and this vibration of like sexual trauma. And I was like, this isn't all mine. Like, I don't feel like this is eons old. Like, what is going on here? And
Right.
as a specialist in helping other people work through their trauma,
Yep.
especially in the sacred sexuality realm, which was like a huge liberation point for me over a decade ago when it first came into my life. And I was like, oh my God, this is the fastest thing that's ever like recalibrated all my bodies, like permission, pleasure, power, all of these things came online. I was like, whose is this? And I went to work with an incredible serenity vibration healing technique person. So I'm an SVH practitioner. That's the quantum level healing tools and technology that I've had in my tool belt for like over a decade. This is the woman that first channeled it. And I said to her, what is going on? And she goes, oh, and like trigger warning, the rape at 2.5. And I was like, what the fuck? And I was literally angry at her because I was like, you're planting seeds in my brain. I don't know if that's true, but every cell in my body was like, it's fucking true. Hello, it's true. And then she's like, I know because I run the program. And then she started telling me what happened to her. And I was like, I just can't handle this, right? So when that shit woke up, I was still in that thing of like, am I imagining what's going on? I didn't know if it was real. I didn't know what to do about it. I couldn't work. I didn't want men in my space.
Yes.
My body felt like a very, very vulnerable place to be. And I don't know if I told you this, but I had massive breasts when I was like 10, 11. I had a breast reduction when I was like 15 and a half. Yeah. And if I didn't, I was going to kill myself then. Right. That's thank God someone heard me and mum said at a funeral, do you want a breast reduction? I was like, fucking yes, because I was sexualized from the age of then. So my whole life, it was like I was just this magnet for toxic people, places and things. And no wonder drugs came into my life. It was like just the natural way to deal with not having to deal. Right. So when all of this stuff came online, I was like, okay, I still don't know. And then somebody told me about, what's that? EMDR therapy.
Yes.
The rapid eye movement therapy, right?
Yes.
And I always just know that once something comes into my field, it's come into my field for a reason, and then I'm just waiting for the teacher to come, right?
And you just give me the signal to go ahead and do it, because my psychologist is like, when you're ready, we're doing this. And I'm like, I'm not ready.
Oh, be ready, babe. It helps you so much. And go to someone you really trust, who's really good.
She's very good. She knows me.
And I worked with someone again who has that, like, she's very intuitive. She's very woo-woo. She just spoke my language. So I went to her, this is years down the track now. So I kind of recalibrated. I had a beautiful healing session with a man, and I was back online, and I thought, did it really happen? I don't know. And then I was running health and wellness retreats, yeah? And I ran 2 back to back, and I said to my partner at the time, I hadn't basically been working for 6 weeks. I built this new business called, what was it called? God, I've blocked it out of my memory now. Breakthrough Retreats.
Okay.
Breakthrough Retreats. And I ran 2 health and wellness retreats back to back. They were like 5 days each. I went off coffee and I was doing the retreats myself. And I said to my partner at the time, I don't know why, but I'm terrified to come off caffeine. Now, did you know caffeine actually creates a second nervous system over your original nervous system?
No, but I have had a year. So I'm a Gwingana girl, which is one of the top wellness retreats in Australia, and I've got contacts who I've become friends with that have connections to it. So I love Gwingana. I did a whole year off coffee, and then now I'm at a place where I actually integrate a bit of decaf, a bit of coffee if I need it. But I've never heard what you're saying. Couple things. I'm going to rewind. We're going to add some resources for people who are hearing this, who don't know personal development or therapy, and you're very brand new. You're like, WTF, what's going on? I will make sure we have 1-800-RESPECT, Lifeline, all the details in the show notes to make sure that if you are triggered, that you know exactly where to go. That's the first thing I have to say here. The other thing is, I would love for you to share with us more around that, the channeled therapy. I've never heard of that lady and what you spoke about, and I'd love to find out also for our listeners, like what that is. And then also, please, I feel like we need like a 10-hour podcast for you. And then also please share about the second nervous system, because I've not heard about this at all either.
So if you're someone that has come from years of trauma and you're doing your best to work through that trauma, but you're finding like you're getting kind of like mixed messages from the wisdom of your body, very often it's when you do a cleanse. It's when you go and strip back all of those false firings and wirings that are like interrupting your intrinsic wisdom from your body. That's when some deep stuff can move. Now, after those, it was 3 days, cleanses, but back to back. So after that week of me cleansing and just giving so much of myself, I created the business in 6 weeks. I facilitated everything. I held space for everyone. I was doing it like my partner really wasn't online, so I was holding space for him as well. And it got to the end, and I just remember my entire body started to shake.
Yeah.
like full trauma response, like an antelope when it gets away from a lion and it survived and then it goes from tip of the nose to the tail.
Yeah.
It's shaking. It's that trauma response. And I remember getting in the car going, I don't want him to touch me. I don't want my partner to touch me. I just need to go back to Melbourne, get away from everyone and everything. And the first person that came into my head was the EMDR lady. And I said, I'm going to work with her. So I'd worked with her once before thinking that it was going to give me that answer, and it didn't.
Right.
Never go in with like an attachment, always be curious and open to explore everything. The second time I worked with her, when this was clear, this channel was clear, and whatever was coming up again needed to come up, bang, I was straight back there. I knew who it was. I knew how many times it happened. I know exactly. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That awareness still, even though I now had the awareness and my body now had to like process, oh my God, I think I know what actually happened to me. I think it's real.
Yeah.
I went and told my mum. I went and told my dad. Now, what do people do? It's a memory. And they're like, that's really intense. I'm really sorry that happened for you, but no one's really believing you. And you don't really believe yourself. There's still that hint of like, did it really happen? 3.5 weeks ago, someone came forward and said that the same person did something to them. And it's just literally my back was out and all of this stuff. So it's like, finally, I've been vindicated. It's because snake energy was in completion.
Wow. That's
right?
amazing.
So the work that helped shift everything for me in terms of getting me on track before I knew about this, right? So this has been over the last 5 years. That's why I said over the last 5 years, things have been shifting, because it's since the awareness, oh my God, this happened to me. Yes, I really think it happened to me. And now I fucking know it did.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
You know how much energy that brought back into my body?
Yeah, I really do.
How much power, how much clarity, how much just like, everything makes sense now.
Yeah.
Everything makes sense now. I've had bulimia for 28 years as a coping strategy. It was my hammer in my toolkit to help regulate my nervous system and all sorts of things. And I was teaching this work the whole time.
But it's, all of the theory and fuck theory, but just the conversations I've had, hundreds of conversations with women, and also my own experience. I've never had a drug and alcohol addiction. I've never had bulimia. But for me, I believe it showed up as an addiction to monogamous relationships with many wrong partners.
Yeah.
So next one, break up, next one. It could not be alone. I felt so unsafe. And it was like better to be with someone than to be with no one, right? And it wasn't like I could think my way out of it. It's like, no, I can't be alone.
You cannot outrun, outthink, outsmart a dysregulated nervous system. That was your little self doing her best to get her needs met in maladaptive ways. Exactly. As you said, I went for all the wolves and pushed away safety. That's what the pattern and the program, and all she knew. I was the same, but I was like, just showed up different. Same shit, different bucket.
And I'm loving that we're sharing. I had no idea that we were going to go there. And when stuff comes up, I'm like, no, but also yes. So a couple of things, anyone listening, not that I finished reading it, but please read The Body Keeps the Score.
Oh, one of the best books of my life. And I read it way before I knew anything had happened to me. But every cell in your body has a memory.
Yes. So for me, it wasn't a memory. And I actually have asked my spirit not to show me, but it was through my body. And it was through one therapist that asked me one question. And that is how it came to life in my 40s. And I nearly was ill on her floor, like nearly threw up in that session. I said, I know enough now. And that's enough now. And I know who it was, and I know the ages and everything else. And that's that. And also family, from my experience, and maybe we're sharing in case anyone's listening and they'll run and help you and they'll make you feel, no. Family and friends, this is an icky, scary topic for people. They actually usually don't want to know. So what I've learned is I've had to find the very few people who will listen to me, counselors, therapists, my beautiful life partner, and I found ways to forgive and move through it. I believe for myself, I will be working on this layer and piece for the rest of my life, because my innocence was taken and it put my whole life into a whole different trajectory.
This is why the sacred sexuality worked for me, and Kundalini activation meditation, working with an incredible woman called Rosie Light. Like, I bring her into my program. She teaches this stuff for free. It is incredible. Wow. It's an amazing resource. When I discovered that, and she only came into my world last year, I've been working with Kundalini energy, which is a mother energy.
Yes.
What happens when our innocence is taken? In no sense, which is the gateway to our superconscious power, right? That's what that is.
I've never heard of that. You are just, oh my God,
At the base of our being, at the root of our being. It is our safety, it is our grounding, it is our belonging, it is the root of our permission center, right? That gets taken from us. So all of a sudden, how are we living our lives? How do we show up from the bedroom to the boardroom and beyond when we are not in our body? We are disconnected from permission. We're looking outside of ourselves for safety, love, and belonging. Baby, that's all we were doing. We were looking in the wrong places. I transferred that shit onto people, places, and things, and they were all toxic. It didn't matter if it was a romantic partner. I've done it with coaches. It cost me 80 grand. I went from one toxic partner, left him, and went into the arms of a woman coach and invested 80K because she knew how to use my wounds against me. And again, it was because I just didn't have the awareness, and I was looking not for mentorship, but for mothering, because I wasn't able to give it to myself. When Kundalini came online truly, and when I started to work with that activated energy, which is the most loving, compassionate, and it's embodied and it's resourced. It's not found in a bank account. It's not found in a partner, a lover, a best friend, no one. It is you, and no one can take that away. When I started to resource, not outsource, everything changed. My bank account changed. My relationships changed. My business changed. My clients changed. Everything changed. Because I chose more love.
I need to talk to you after this. I'm going to talk to you because I was actually thinking today, and with all love and respect to all of my beautiful guests on this podcast, but I've been doing this stuff a really long time. I've worked with lots of people. I've spent lots of money. I've made so many mistakes in life and business, in sex and love and everything else. And I was like, I feel like I've heard everything. I really would love to have conversations where it's something brand new that I don't know. And this is what you're bringing to me and to the audience. I have not heard of this. And
Let's go there. Where do you want to go? Let's go fucking deep.
Okay, so can you share with us the innocence? Like, tell us again the word about the innocence you mentioned.
In no sense.
I've never heard of that.
So this is part of the superconscious work. So you know how I said I was studying, look, I'm an SVH qualified practitioner, yeah? I'm mastery level 1.
So tell us about SVH. Let's go back to because I don't know about
Serenity vibration healing technique. So this is quantum level healing tools, technology, and reprogramming and repatterning. It was phenomenal, and I learned this over a decade ago. Okay.
Wow.
So why couldn't I change with all of those skills and tools and all of my clever brain? Because this was my story, right? I had a story, but if I'm so smart, and I'm ridiculously smart, why can't I change? There must be something wrong with me, because I have studied fucking everything, all the modalities. I've got more modalities coming out my ass than anybody I know. What's wrong with me? I must be broken.
I'm giggling because I went and enrolled in a fucking MBA.
Yeah, yes.
So I was like, I'm not smart. Maybe I am smart. I did the first subject. I hate studying, like a formal study. I get stressed, I get anxious, I don't enjoy it. But something in me was like, I have to, like, maybe I'm not smart. I have to prove to myself. I got a second-class honours in the first subject, and it was like means tested against like leaders all across Melbourne, right? In University of Melbourne, the most prestigious.
Of course you did.
Right? I'm
of course you fucking did.
Get this story, right? I emailed that lecturer and I said to him, I'm Deborah. I said, are there 2 Deborahs in the course?
Because I think you've mixed the results.
because the little girl, the 3, 4, 5, and 6-year-old, when these things happen, did not believe it. And then when he wrote,
but there is not one person who's listening to your podcast or watching right now who isn't like, what a hyper fucking awesome on it woman. You said to me when we sat down, I'm all on top of everything. I don't miss a beat. I'm structured. And that's where my happy place. Guess why? Yeah. That's our safe zone. But the little girl inside, the 2, the 3-year-old, the one that's like terrified of dropping the ball, otherwise her whole life is going to collapse.
Literally, because
she didn't have safety, right? That's how we create it. What do you think my bulimia was? It was a structure. It was a safety. That's all it was, right? But that's the part is actually driving our ship. So get this, right? We've got Serenity vibration healing technique, which I loved because I'm like the consummate universal explorer, curious explorer, universal apprentice, and I'm always hungry, ready, willing, and able to learn. So like SVH was awesome because it's really complex language, right? So it's
Love
NLP
it.
on crack.
Love it. I'm like, bring it on,
Okay.
bring it on. Love it.
Very hard to teach to an everyday person.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Very hard. Now, and also I don't want my teaching, because I want to impact thousands, millions,
Yes.
that's what
Yes.
I'm here for. So I
Yes.
needed to find a structure, because it's all about structure and safety. The masculine is the structure, the
Yes.
feminine flows within. Yeah.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I need to find spirit, show me a structure that is easy to replicate, that I can teach my students super conscious work, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
Then I discovered the work of William Whitecloud, and I worked with a lady called Miranda Marriott. She's brilliant. He's brilliant. He wrote The Magician's Way.
Yeah.
Okay. So she studied with him. Miranda studied with William
Okay.
for over 6+ years.
Wow.
And she had more of a feminine edge. That's why I didn't go and study with William directly, because I needed feminine. I was done with a powerful man telling me how to be a powerful woman. No,
Right.
thank you.
Right.
And also, when I found Miranda to do this super conscious work, I'd left the ego coach that I'd paid like 80K to, right? And I was broken at the end of that.
Sweetheart.
Okay. I was absolutely broken. I had just completely lost trust and faith in my own intuitive. I could be intuitive with everybody else.
I was just about to say
For
this.
myself. Yeah.
So,
I
isn't
outsource.
the confusion and the shame, because I'm so intuitive, and many of us are. I'm not special. There's so many of
We
us
all
that are
are.
connected to the
We
field.
all
That's true.
are.
It's just,
We just need to be taught how to do it.
I think actually part of us, those of us that are perhaps more tuned in, is actually because of what we've been through from 0 to 7. We actually had to choose to be so connected to the field of energy, to the emotions around us, because of what was going on.
It was our safe place. We had to be. It was
We had to be.
hypervigilance. Yeah.
But then it's funny, I can like channel and get these downloads and messages and know things for all of my clients, and also like random strangers even.
Yep.
Like I would just know stuff and go,
Yep.
"Oh, sorry, I'm crossing a boundary," but blah, blah, blah. And they're like, "Yes, how did you know?" I'm like, "I don't know." But then for me, no idea.
Yeah.
Because why? Because that part of me was not connected. I wasn't in my body. I wasn't getting the right signals. And it's so important, because I want other women that are tuned into the field, that are readers and healers and whatever label you want to give yourself, light worker, psychic, media, whatever that is, that you can do that for everybody else, but you can't for yourself. This is potentially why.
So why do you think I found drugs so appealing? They were opening that channel for me before I learned how to do it consistently for myself. And it was Serenity Vibration Healing Technique that opened the channel and the door, so I never needed drugs again.
When you say drugs, though, because drugs can be like alcohol, that can be prescription.
Alcohol is a depressant that is not going to open the channel.
Or do you mean like medicine? Because there are certain drugs that are also medicines for people as well.
Absolutely. And I'm a big advocate of plant medicine, and also working with other types of medicine in a beautiful ritualistic way.
Perfect.
Like I've lived with shaman. I've worked, like, this is a huge part of what I actually do. Like I actually work very closely with the Blue Lotus energy, which is just a beautiful seeing and heart opening, and cacao and a lot of different medicines like that.
Beautiful.
But no, when I was young, I was very much into, first it was started with alcohol and weed, and then it went to, and weed could like open portals and things like that, but they weren't always good. And again, we're not talking about clean weed. We're talking about weed that has been very grown in a lab or something, and they've put all different sorts of shit in it. So when I started to use drugs, I was using things like acid, and then I found MDMA. And MDMA, like pills back in the day, like, remember guys, I'm 45, I ain't a spring chicken anymore, but they were really good back then. And so they would open this heart center, they would open these other centers that couldn't open consistently or weren't safe to open consistently. But when I was in that state, I felt really powerful. Then after a while, obviously I went to rehab in 2004 and decided, no more, because I was injecting, and there were a whole bunch of other things. Like I ended up on speed, and that was my drug of choice, because it was all about getting more shit done, right? Like being organized and not wanting to eat and all of these sorts of things, right? So I had to make a decision, and I did. And then it was about, okay, how do I now become the version of me that can sustainably tap in, tune in, and turn on this energy within myself? Because I am very hyper creative, hypersensitive, hyper vigilant.
Yes.
That was the thing I had to turn down so I could turn up my intuitive gifts. Now, when I was younger, the predominant intuitive gift I had was the gift of feeling. It was like my empathic self. So my body will move like a conduit. Yeah. My whole body will actually move and make sounds and shake and things like that. As I got older, I was like, this is too painful.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk in a room and don't know what I am. I couldn't separate what you were and what I was. There was no sovereignty.
Yeah, I get
So
you.
I had to start saying to spirit, if I'm going to be a conduit for you, which I want to be in service to the
Yeah.
light,
Yep.
you need to communicate with me in a different way
Yep.
that doesn't ping on all of my pain points.
Yep.
And so this is where clairaudience came online. This is the hearing gift.
Yes.
Yeah. So I say, I hear voices in my head, man.
Yep. Yep.
And it started on ayahuasca. So it was an ayahuasca journey that actually switched that channel on. And I've got so many crazy stories about the journey that I've been on with different types of medicine, but the plants only open the door. Once the door is open, it's up to us as self-led leaders to continue the journey of actually creating a foundation, stabilizing that and embodying that new level of awareness and taking inspired action steps from there. That's been another journey.
Incredibly amazing what you're sharing. So I have not done ayahuasca. I know so many beautiful colleagues and people who have and love it. I had a spontaneous awakening after mum died where I was connecting to her in spirit and totally freaked out. And then I started going, well, if I'm gifted, prove it. Don't ask the universe that question.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I was starting to do random readings of people that had lost their mothers and knowing things of what was their favorite perfume and their favorite tea. And so all the clairs were switched on for me. I was super freaked out. I had no one to guide or mentor me. My family and friends thought I was just crazy, literally.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And then I was like conducting readings for a while. I was like, oh, that's my purpose. I'm a medium. I'm a psychic, right? No,
No.
I mean, I
You're definitely not.
no. So, but
No.
but then my sovereignty kicked in, and I was like, actually, everyone, just shut up, go away,
Yes.
unless
Yes.
you're here to help me help them, and I can have something that is profitable and grounded, and still raise my son and everything else. Otherwise, seriously, stop.
Yeah.
And that was a long while ago now. And then I've integrated all of that. And it still happens. I'll still get like a wave of something coming through and I'll get a download of something. But I'll say, is this necessary in this moment? Like in my mind, I'll say that, right?
Yeah.
And if I get no, it might re-traumatize someone, or no, we're just letting you know. I'm like, good and thank you and goodbye. Otherwise, I'll bring it through.
So this is such an important piece, and it's a sovereignty piece.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people who get their intuitive gifts starting to percolate and they start getting like and receiving messages, but they don't understand the sovereignty is that means integrity.
Yes.
You do not go up and randomly go, oh, I'm getting a message for you without an invitation. It can absolutely re-traumatize someone. Like you've got to be very mindful. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
You know, so it's like I teach people and I bring their gifts online, but I also teach absolute energetic hygiene and absolute sovereignty. And when you were talking about Aya, I got it very clear, you do not need her. She's like, no, you do not want to do that, right? She's very clear about that.
I am not, it's not for me. It is.
No.
I feel like
I've got
FOMO because I know lots, and I'm like, oh, but the thing is,
she's working with you anyway. That's what she wants me to tell you. Like she's working with you already. You don't need to do her to tap into that energy.
I had 10 years with a remarkable teacher learning about the heart, where I was on ashrams in Bali and traveled over I 10 years of regressions and opening and opening and opening. And it was immensely beautiful. That's the spiritual self. I'm not just saying it from textbook. I've lived the experience of true self-consciousness of who we are beyond form, just love and light being. And then I had to integrate because I wasn't integrated. It was also as a masculine teacher.
Yes.
The language was triggering for me. I didn't know about the childhood stuff back then yet. And there's many other stories that I will not go into as well. But I had to just create some distance from all of that. Take the gratitude, take the learnings. Again, the teacher is wonderful. I won't ever say anything bad because he is an incredible being of love and light. For anyone listening that knows me from that era, yes, I know he's amazing. And also my journey was very interesting in that I had to find ways to be sovereign, to set the boundary, to go, that time of my life is now finished. When actually the girlfriend that passed away, who I would call her my sister, she was saying to me a year before she transitioned, we have to meditate more. And I'm like, wow, we meditate all the time. Like we go to retreats, we meditate, like that's all we do. I need to eat. She's like, no, because we only have like a year left. And I was like, what are you talking about? She had
Oh,
a year.
wow.
She was being prophetic. She had a year left. She died a
Wow.
year
Oh,
later.
wow.
I didn't, but I said to her, I started to pull away because it was pulling me into this grief. And I had this feeling like I knew something big was coming. And I'm like, I've already lost so many people. My goodness. And then the
Mm,
diagnosis came through, and I probably looked like the worst friend, the most selfish friend. And I know there was talk about that. I was going to end things if I didn't break away from her because I couldn't watch another person I loved die from cancer. I had to
I
pull
think this
away.
is I think this is a really important distinction. It's self is not selfish. You can't give what you do not have, and you cannot receive that which you are not a vibrational match to. And even though it is like just the most traumatically beautiful thing to watch someone in that demise of their physical body, we know that that's not the end, right? We know that it's a transition, but it's still very painful when we're like, in order to be able to preserve myself, to even be there for myself and the other people that I'm here to serve, I love you and I send you so much love and so much healing, but I have to look after me. It's like put your own mask on, and people are all going to have different feelings about that.
Yeah.
But this is what I teach, babe. It's self is not selfish. If you're drowning, I cannot help you if I jump in with you and you're pulling me under.
No.
I've got to save myself. It's self
And
is.
that was the same time that the abuse piece was unraveling. And also, I don't talk too much, I'm very protective, but I've got a neurodivergent son. And we co-parent as well. We're not together and haven't been for a decade, for over a decade. It's fine. It's all lovely. We're very heart-centered. We've figured it out. Do you know how much energy and strategizing and thinking and communication that goes into being a co-parent to a neurodivergent child while processing sexual childhood abuse, while running a business, like while your friend, oh my God, that, and again, TEDx talk inspiration, right? Like it was everything coming at me. I actually went to an astrologer and she didn't know anything about me, and she looked at my chart and she nearly started to cry, and I was like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Well, not really, but I'm here." She's like, "You have all these numbers that indicate you are nurturing, you are mothering, you give to everybody else, and you've got big karma, you're clearing big things in this lifetime. And this year you have, I think, don't quote me, but I think it was a 5, which was change or something." She said this year was unearthing all of the things about things that have happened for you, and it could have very nearly like taken you out, but you're here, and I'm just making sure, are you okay? And I burst out crying and told her like everything. She's like, okay, let me tell you something. I'm not going to say that you'll never have challenges ever again because you're human, but she said there's nothing like this on your chart. This year was the year.
What year was that?
22.
Okay, that was my year last year.
Right. And a lot
Of
of people
all
had
of
that in
the,
25. Yeah, the
yeah,
same year.
yeah,
For me,
yeah.
it was 22.
It
Yeah.
was a big year of the shedding of all of the things, like the worst possible things that could happen, but at the same time, there were gifts and blessings in all of it. And I'm actually so deeply grateful. I feel like it's the year that's allowed me to shed the old human skin, just like the snake, and stand before you, shiny, bright, beautiful, clean, and integrated even more deeply because of the maturity piece that came through from all of that.
Yeah, I can feel it. It feels so wholesome and grounded.
Yeah, and I see you, sister. Like I see all of these incredible pieces that you've walked through the fire to bring back the gold. You've alchemized this shit, you know. There's a huge piece. You said, look, I'm not talking from my head. I've lived this shit. Like I embody this stuff. Yeah. And I think that's a huge part that really needs to be spoken because my mum is a psychologist. She's got all the letters after her name. Do you know how many people she's referred to me? She's been one of the biggest, like, incredible influxes because people know what psychology is. When people hear embodied leadership and catalyst for your next level evolution, they go, what the fuck is that? What does that
Yeah.
mean? You
Yeah.
know, oh, she does Tantra and she does, all of these woo woo magic stuff. And like, oh no, that's too scary. So they go see my mum and they see her for 7 sessions, 18 sessions, some 21 years, and they get this much movement.
Yep. That's
And
it.
my mum, when I came online, I know you said, I really found, I went on my healing journey to try and save my own mum. Like that's what you said, yeah?
Yep, totally.
And my experience was I started my tantric journey and I lit the fuck up. I came home to my mum having a full body Kundalini awakening. So every cell in my body started to orgasm at the same time. It was the best drug I'd ever found, and it was free, and it was in me.
So when
Yeah.
I did a Kundalini awakening through the community that I mentioned before, I was very embarrassed and didn't know what to do. The entire workshop, I was having a full body orgasm the whole day.
Yeah. Well, I stayed in mine for a week, and I came
Oh my
home
God.
to my mum. Literally, I was high for a week. I was so, if someone had given me a drug, I would have OD'd. I was in rapture. I was in bliss. And I come home to my mum, and there she is at the computer, and so she's like, and I go, Mum, I've discovered Tantra. And she's like, I know all about Tantra. And I go, so what the fuck? Like, it's the world's best kept secret. Why didn't you tell me about it? And she's like, looking at me a little bit weird by this stage. And I go, so you've had a full body orgasm? And she goes, no, but I've read all about it.
Yeah.
That's the fucking difference,
Yeah.
right? So here
Yeah.
she is.
Yeah.
Like, but never. So when she was 64 and a half. So for her 65th birthday, she couldn't come to see me as a practitioner because I was too close.
Of course.
So we paid to get her to go see one of my beautiful friends, and she had her first full body orgasm at the age of 65.
Yes.
When I came online, my mum started by proxy to come online too. We became the first mother-daughter sexperts.
Oh my
She
God.
was the head, and I'm the mind, body, spirit, right?
It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
But I felt so limited in that. And again, I never came here to be in my mum's shadow. She's Dr. Jan. And you know what? Something's really cute. I'll tell you this. This is funny.
Yeah.
So my mum is Dr. Janet Hall. Okay. There used to be many years ago, you might remember if you were in Melbourne, a show on TV called Sex Life. Do you remember that show with Toddy Goldsmith?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you
Yeah.
remember how they used to have like the sex scenes and like Toddy kind of in the background, and then they'd
Yes.
flash the resident psychologist and she was talking?
Was that your mum?
That's my mum.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
she's like, I'm famous. I'm famous without the fortune. I'm like, what a terrible mantra. Cancel that.
Cancel that. Have both. Yeah.
Cancel that. So there was a guy called Will Smith, was it, on Triple J? And one morning on Triple J, they're all talking about sex life. And Will goes, did you guys see last night on Sex Life? There's that sex therapist. What's her name? And they go, oh, Dr. Janet Hall. And he goes, yes, say it quickly. Dr. Genital. And my mum was like, that is so good. I'm going to become like a raw comedian. Oh my God, it was awful.
I know exactly the show that you're talking about. I need to look her up now. And can I just say, you're not in the shadow. It's almost like there was a baton that was passed on to you, and you brought your own uniqueness to it.
Oh, no, definitely now. Yeah. Absolutely. No, it's been a beautiful, it's a legacy that she's left, actually. And I feel very, very blessed to take that baton and wield it, but from an embodied place. And you really do. Energy doesn't lie. When someone speaks to you from the head, it can make an impact. But when someone speaks to you from the heart, you remember that for life. Like it will leave an imprint on your soul, right? And that shit is where, you know, I guess I've kind of like, I can impact more people only because they're going to feel it. Like I'm the mother of a revolution here. Like the Platinum Woman, know your value, live your worth, because I teach what I most needed to learn. And I don't teach from just books. I've read many, many books and I've studied many different schools of thought, but I lived it. I teach from embodied experience. So people trust that. Like I'm like, oh yeah, you're scared of the cave. Don't worry. I've been in there. I come back bloody, bruised, battered, and I'm like, I know the way around in there. It's all good. I've got a flashlight. I won't do the walk for you, but I'll stand beside you and I'll walk alongside you.
It's incredible because what you're doing for women's lives and bodies and sex lives and all, it's a whole life thing, because it's a nourishment of the whole soul. This is what I'm doing for business.
It is. I'm doing it for business too.
Yes,
because you take you from the bedroom to the boardroom and beyond. You can't compartmentalize. That's the old masculine paradigm.
It's all connected.
So you've got your beautiful 6 selves.
Yes.
I've got my flower of life. The flower of life is 8 petals. Each one of them represents a different chakra through the chakra systems, and your 8th is up here. You are a whole, complete being. Right. One petal impacts the whole. You have permission, pleasure, power, passion, purpose, peace, presence and play. And when all of these start like illuminating at the same time, you're walking around with your heart open. You are a full, complete woman standing in her personal power, sovereignty, standing in prosperity. I mean, these are the codes that we are awakening to, because the earth during COVID herself, this is why our shit came online then.
Yeah.
She shifted from the three-dimensional masculine paradigm into the fourth, then fifth, then sixth, then seventh D consciousness. This is a feminine frequency, baby. This is why the whole world as we know it is changing so dramatically, not as fast as I would like, but if it changed any faster, the world as we know it would end, right? So they're dismantling in a way that is actually safe for the collective.
I love that. And I so appreciate the reminder, because there were feelings and visions, I'm talking back in 2010, 2012.
Yeah.
When I was starting to do the heart practice, and I was like, there's a shift coming on the planet. And I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
what are you talking about? Like, my background was science. Like, I don't know. I just didn't know where this was all coming from. And then I was getting these downloads of like, you're the bridge. I'm like, bridge of what?
Yeah.
What bridge
You
of what?
Yes.
And then now I know it's spirituality and business, and it's through this framework. But I was asking for proof, and I need the practical, the pragmatic. I needed to walk through fire multiple times to humble me as well. I needed to know the rejections, the sales, the offer. Like, I needed to know and live all of that to bring this into the world.
Debbie, what are you in human design? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm a projector.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
What numbers are you?
I actually don't know. Is that like the end number when you add up your whole birthday?
No. So in your anyone that doesn't know what we're talking about,
Yes,
human
please tell us.
design, it
So
came
we've
into
gone way
my
off
life.
track and we've gone way over, but that's okay. It's a lot
Oh, so sorry. I could talk to you forever.
I know, same.
But human design, for anyone that doesn't know, is like I came into my life 11 years ago and I wasn't ready. And it was like Eckhart Tolle when I tried to read The Power of Now. I was just gobbledygook on a page. Why would anyone be bothered? When you're ready, the teacher will appear. Every word was like, oh. So human design was the same. Last year, it came back into my world, and it has revolutionized the way that I see myself, the way I see myself in business, the way I communicate, the way I sleep, I play. Everything has shifted because it is a permission slip. As a projector, we're only 22% of the population.
Oh.
The majority of the population are generators. Yeah, so big conglomerate of the world are generators. They plug in and they're the life force of the planet. We need them to bounce off because we can't generate our own energy. Okay?
Right.
We are the seers, we are the guides. Yes.
Yeah.
Then we have the manifestors. They are like, they're not as prevalent as generators. And then we have manifesting generators. Okay. And they all offer different things. And then we have the reflectors, and they're 2% of the population.
Wow.
Okay. They're very, very rare, and they're very interesting kind of people because they're different cats to all of us. Okay. But as projectors, the reason I'm asking, because I feel like you and I might have similar numbers. You will have, as a projector, our strategy when we are living in alignment with our design is success. Anything we fucking touch, girl, turns to gold, yeah? When we're not living in alignment with our design, it's bitterness and resentment. That's how I know when I'm off track. Yeah. I'm like, I feel depleted, I'm annoyed, I'm like, oh, I hate you right now, I don't want to give this. That's when I'm like, I'm overgiving. Because that's my old paradigm that's like the good girl, people pleaser, perfectionist, prover. So I'm a 1/3. The 1 is the curious explorer. Okay. When we finish this, I'm going to find out with you. Do you know what time you're born?
No, this is the thing. Oh my God. I know. And I can't ask mum and dad has no idea. And I've been looking for the last 2 years for my baby book. But I've guessed.
Okay. So I've got a beautiful friend I'm going to introduce you to, and she can actually test it up. So everyone who doesn't know, I just give to her and she's like, just a whiz, and she'll be like, oh, okay.
Kinesiology, or she can check it some other way.
Yeah. This is her superpower, right? That's just her superpower. But I'm a 1, which is the curious explorer. So I will never stop learning. Yeah. Right? I'm such like a sponge for knowledge, but there's a shadow to everything as there's a light and a shadow. Yeah. The shadow is I feel like I never know enough. So that imposter syndrome can run deep. Yeah. Yeah. And then I'm the 3. Now the 3, feel into this because I feel like you're going to be, oh, I think that sounds like me. The 3 is what they call the martyr. It sounds bad, but it's not actually. It's quite beautiful. It's just a word to describe it. It can also be the experimenter. Okay. We are the ones that everyone's standing outside the cave, and you and I are like, hey, Debbie, We're
Come on.
going to go in first and we're
Totally.
going to do everything wrong in
Totally.
there, everything wrong that
Totally.
we can do. Because when we come back, as I said, we're bruised, we're battered, we're bloody, but everyone goes, they know exactly what they're talking about because it's lived, embodied experience. We cannot teach from here. We must have lived it, gone through it, tested it out for ourselves,
Yep.
and we never grow out of it. It's like a sacred rebel. Now, you could be a 6. A 6 was a 3
Yeah.
who then matures into her queendom. I'm the sacred rebel. I'll never grow out of it. I stay a 3. But no 6 can get to a 6 without being a 3. And it happens when you're about 50. It's a sacred portal that happens when you're about 50, and that's
Given
when you step
this
into
and the
it.
6 selves and my connection to the number 6, I wouldn't be surprised if I was.
Neither would I. I
My
actually
birthday.
can feel it as I'm talking
So
to you now. I feel
I'm
like
actually
there might be 6 energy.
16th of December. So 1 and 6. So there is a 6 in my birth chart already. But yes,
Yeah,
I am so curious to find out more. And we'll finish up soon, but I wanted to add to that, which is I call myself a pioneer. And I feel like I've always
that's your
been the
3.
first, right? So first to kiss a boy, first to have sex, first to get married, first to have a divorce, first to lose a parent, first to start a business. Like in my little ecosystem world,
Yeah,
first.
yeah, yeah.
And
I love
I
it.
don't want it to be the case, but it's just I'll put my hand, I'll go. There's a microphone before I was a speaker. Every single room I was in, didn't matter
Yeah.
where I was, something I would feel something. Who wants to be? My arm would go up. I'm like, put your arm down, girl. What? Every microphone was in my first to speak. Elizabeth Gilbert came down a year ago to Melbourne, huge auditorium, and she's
Yeah,
like, all right, questions. My arm goes up.
yeah.
And there I am, first one in Melbourne to speak. Anyway, so yes, I think that you are onto something here. I friggin' love you. I'm like, where have you been all my life? I can't believe I'm 45 and didn't meet you when I was like
Hello,
15.
sister. Here I am. It's so beautiful to connect with you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's finish up on which self is your favorite and why. And then I have one other question for you as well.
So definitely for me, it's the sovereignty self, and that actually encompasses and embodies all of the selves.
Yeah.
You and your sovereignty is, now let me put my glasses back on. It absolutely encapsulates you in your pure spiritual essence, you in your emotional body, but knowing what are your emotions and what are not. You should not be metabolizing emotions for others. It's got to be self to self. Yeah, self is not selfish. The legacy self, this is the legacy you were born to lead, not anybody else. The valued self, self-love, self-compassion, self-value, self-leadership.
Yes.
That is such an important part. The ecological self, they're your 4 bodies: mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual, the PEMs, right?
Yes.
So the sovereignty is all of my bodies are congruent and integrated, aligned, talking with each other.
Yes.
Ecological means it's safe for all parts of me. I'm listening. And the sexual self, which, as you know, is one of my absolute favorites. It was where I got to reclaim that for myself, that innocent part of me. When I'm in my deep, sensual, sexual self, it's her that comes to play that really allows me to experience bliss and pleasure like I had never known before. So I love all of them, babe. It's such a beautiful thing that you're offering to the planet. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It's my other baby from my baby. He'll be 18 this year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Lucky last question is, what advice do you have for anyone who is building a business that serves both the world and their heart?
The world and their heart.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing that I would say is business is spiritual. It is absolutely spiritual and emotional. The minute you're like, I'm going to create a business from here, awesome, mate, good on you. Do something that's not that fucking important, and you still might be successful. But I believe that all business is it should be heart-led.
Yeah.
And a heart-led business is on a foundation, because you cannot build anything worthwhile on rubble. If it's heart-led and soul-led, it will succeed.
Yeah.
So make sure that you build it from this first. And if you need help with that, reach out to me, because this is exactly how I help and serve beautiful women of the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, beautiful one. Is there anything else on your heart that you want to share today before we close off?
I would love to invite incredible women. May I offer them something?
Yes, please, of course.
Yeah, so I would love to offer your audience, not just women, I also work with a very select few group of men,
Yep.
but predominantly the work I do is mentorships for women who really want to come on a journey of evolution, growth, and I do it through the platinum method, which is permission, pleasure, prosperity, power, and play. They're like my 5 pillars.
Beautiful.
But what I'd love to gift everyone today is called the 5-minute magnetic reset ritual. And it literally guides them through all these concepts we've been talking about today: super conscious, identity work, embodiment, leadership, sovereignty, all of those things encapsulated into a 5-minute process that is so powerful. I use it myself every single day. All my clients use it. It is an absolutely revolutionary tool and technology that I would love to give to everyone, including you.
Thank you, sweetheart. Will you add that? Is there a link where we can go to find it?
Oh, absolutely. I'll give you everything. Yeah.
Okay. We love you. Thank you. And
thank you so much for having me. What a great conversation. What a real, raw, alive fucking conversation. Thank you. It's refreshing.
My pleasure. My fucking pleasure. We love you. We'll see you soon.
If something in today's episode resonated with you and you're ready for your next step, there are a few ways that we can work together. You can apply to join me inside the 12-month Business Build Mastermind, come along to the Ultimate Activation Live Workshop, book a VIP day, or access a free trial of my Monday meditation and prioritization online session. And if you'd like more personalized guidance, you can also book in for a 60-minute reading or audit. The best way to get in touch with me is to find me on Instagram at Deb_Zita, that's Zita, or comment on this episode.
The information provided on this podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and should not be considered medical, health, or financial advice. Always consult with a qualified health professional or financial advisor before making any decisions related to your personal health or finances.